Hello fin lovers, it's Mr. B. Today we're going to talk about Repashy. Stay tuned. Okay fin lovers, we're back. We're going to be showing you how to make Repashy today. And yes, I did say make. This is a food that comes in a powder that once you add boiling water to it becomes gel-like, kind of like Jello. There are a lot of benefits to this food. The one that I'm using today as a demonstration is called Morning Wood. Now, other than the cute, catchy name, Morning Wood is great for your bristlenose plecos because it does contain wood in the mixture. Ancestral plecos, which include bristlenose, need to have wood in their diet. It helps aid in digestion, and it is also just something that they need to be healthy and to be able to spawn correctly for you. Basically, we are going to show you in this video today how to make Repashy and then how to feed it to your tanks. Now, Repashy, the way I use it is generally for plecos, but you can use it for live bearers and community fish because once they see something in the tank, they usually will go down and try to get a couple of bites. If you have a heavily contained tank, lots of guppies, lots of swordtails along those lines, you will see a feeding frenzy like you would expect to see in the ocean with a bait ball. So hopefully I can get some footage of that for you today. The way you make Repashy is you take 1 part powder to 2 to 3 parts boiling water. The nice thing about that recipe is you can make as much or as little as you need. Some people will make the entire container because they're feeding 100 tanks. Some people will use a small amount because they only have 1 or 2 tanks. I used to use probably 1 of these to 2 parts water all the time. I would do that probably once every other week because the food, if you refrigerate it, is good for up to 2 weeks. Since I have less tanks right now, because again we are in the process of moving, I will be making about half of this measuring scoop and 1 of these measuring scoops filled with water. Pardon me. There are lots of different ways that you can make Repashy. You can do it with the recipe that I just mentioned. You can also go and do a version of that and then put it in the oven. I think it's 140, 150 degrees for about 8 hours, and it becomes jerky-like. At that point, the shelf life of the Repashy will be much longer, but you will have to reconstitute it by soaking it in water first so the fish can actually get to it. I'm not going to do that today. I have never tried the jerky formula, but it's something that I might do in the past. If I do, I can do a video. If you're interested to see how that goes, please put a comment down in the comment section, and if I get enough interest, I can do one of those videos. While we're speaking, what kind of videos do you want to see Mr. B do in the future? I have some planned because obviously I'm going to be moving my tanks to the area that we find a house in and then setting up a much better equipped fish room. So I already have plans to do that when the time is right. But what else do you want to see on this channel? Just let me know in the comments and I'll be happy to put something together for you. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to make the Repashy, and I'm going to stand up and I will show you this way. Okay, so we said 1 part Repashy to 2 parts or 3 parts of water. As you can see, it's a powder, and as you can see, it comes flying out. Once you have opened this container, you need to store it in the refrigerator. Keep it cool 45, 50 degrees will be good. This is about half of a cup. So I'm going to pour it in here. This contains boiling water. I don't know if you can see the steam coming out. Maybe better when I pour it. Yeah, you can see some really good steam. Then what you're going to do is you're simply going to add it into the powder, and then you're going to immediately stir it. You want to get a good mix. Try to hold it up there so you can see what's going on. Try to get a good mix. I always like to run the fork around the bottom, trying to get as much of that powder incorporated as possible. And once you have something that looks like this, you can do so many things with drying the Repashy. I used to have small little ice cube trays that I would use to get a form of the Repashy, and then just simply, like a regular ice cube, just pop it out and then it's formed a cube. I don't do that anymore because this is just so much easier. As you can see, it's already starting to form a little bit. See if I can get this up to the camera. You can see it's already forming. So it doesn't take long before it sets, so you really want to work with it quick. So once I get the majority of it out, what I do is I just press it down a little bit so it'll cool a little bit more evenly. Till you have something that looks like that. Now, what I'm going to do is I usually let this sit and cool on the counter for about an hour. And then what I do is, while I'm doing that, I will put a paper towel over it. And that's the hard part of Repashy. Once it settles a little bit more, I will come back and we will show you how to feed the tanks, how to store it in the refrigerator, or at least how I store it in the refrigerator. And then we'll show you some footage of the fish just absolutely loving on the Repashy. So stay tuned. I'll be back with you shortly. Okay, fin lovers, so it's been about 2 hours, and this is what it looks like after it's cured. You can see kind of like a rubbery consistency almost down here. In this cup here, these are scrapings from the bowl. You don't want to waste any of this. The only step to do now is to slice it and feed it to the fish tanks. So what I usually do, I stand up for this part, what I usually do is I'll just take a knife specifically for this purpose, slide it through, and I'll just put a little bit of effort. It's not much, because again it is like Jello. And then I'll cut this down in half here. And that leaves me pieces that look like this. That's basically all there is to it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop this in some of the tanks, and then we'll be back in a little bit. Sometimes it takes them a little while to get the smell in the water and to get in there, so I don't want to have to do a whole lot of editing on this part. I'd rather just drop them in the tanks and then show you the tanks individually. So we'll be back with you in a bit. Stay tuned. Okay, fin lovers, so it's been in the tank for about 5 minutes, and basically you can see that my snow white bristlenose are enjoying it as they're gobbling it up here. Got some various sizes in there. The one in the middle looks like a nice male. Really can't wait till he becomes of sexual maturity so I can breed him with that beautiful female back there. Let's check another tank. Okay, so here's some long-fin green dragons also enjoying the Repashy. It's been in there for the same length of time as with the snow white bristlenose. Sorry for the glare of my shirt here, fin lovers, but I think it looks very inviting to them. The Repashy, that is, not the shirt. The Wabbenmooster are late to the game here. Appears to be just one female, but one of the Blue Dream shrimp that snuck in here, he's sitting on it too, so I'll come back to this one if there's more action. As we can see, it's not just for plecos. We have some of the black Venezuelans, a couple of guppies munching a little bit on this. This is a little breeder box of long-fin green dragons. Sorry for my finger. Breeding box of long-fin green dragons. The fork is because they also get zucchini. Even the L181s are getting into the business. So I hope this video was informative, fin lovers, and it showed you just what Repashy is, how easy it is to make, and how well loved the food is by just about anything in your aquarium. So give it a shot. There are many, many varieties. I usually pick mine up from Keith at KJE Aquatics. He has the entire aquatic Repashy. There are also formulas for reptiles and so forth. I don't know if he carries those. That would be something to look on his website. So there you go, fin lovers. If you found this informative, please like and subscribe. And again, drop some comments down. Tell me what else you're looking for on the channel. Until then, have a great day, fin lovers.